challenge you once again, Andrew. So it turns out that my challenge to you this week is also a list video. You can't give me flack, however, because I did think of this idea like 3 weeks ago, so just saying.
Sure you did.
Of course, with all of my challenges to you, this one has a little bit of a twist. Most of us who know you, Andrew, know that Superman is by far your favorite superhero character.
I have absolutely no idea what you mean.
I know that there are a lot of superhero lists that have been done in the past, which is why I want you to do something a little bit different. My challenge to you, Andrew, is to make a top 5, top 10 list of your favorite superheroes or supervillains purely based on their personality. So no superpowers, no special abilities, no mutations, no alien abilities, purely on who they are.
Challenge accepted. Good morning. As you can see, I am not in my bedroom. I'm actually going to be filming this from a variety of different locations, so as they change, don't be too shaken up by that. This is actually a hotel in Vancouver where I recently did a programming competition. So before we begin the list, as you so eloquently pointed out, I am quite the super fan. So, to make things more interesting, I'm not going to mention him on this list. He's not going to be mentioned in any of the parts of my list because, let's face it, the only interesting part of Superman is his powers, right? Secondly, while this is a top 10 list, the order that I present these guys in is completely arbitrary. The person I list first isn't my number 10 slot or my number 1 slot. The order that I present them in is completely arbitrary because you asked me to evaluate them based off of who they are as people, so I tried to pick a unique gallery of heroes and villains. And that's right, there will be villains. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's begin the list. That's right, the first person I want to talk about is everybody's favorite billionaire orphan, Batman. So why is Batman so interesting? That's a good question, me. See, in so many ways, Batman is just as damaged as the people that he fights. On the one hand, he's got this super strict moral code that doesn't allow him to kill anybody, but he's totally fine with beating the crap out of people. Ever notice how in a lot of media he's portrayed as being hunted by the police? It's because what he does is not typically a very good thing. And while you can argue that, yeah, he's doing it for the good of Gotham and he's putting criminals behind bars, there is that escalation factor that they focused on so much in the Dark Knight trilogy. The fact that when Batman came onto the scene, there weren't any crazed supervillains running around, but as soon as he did, that promoted people like the Joker to come in there. And he's haunted by that fact. The fact that the Joker sees him as just as crazy as he is. That because he's doing all these Batman-y things, that's why there's people like the Joker. For the most part, we tend to just focus on how he's a crazy, awesome, techno, ninja badass. However, he's so much more damaged than that, and I didn't really even recognize it so much, but when I started watching Gotham, that started to make it really clear that just how damaged this guy is.
There you are. All over the bloody house looking for you. What are you doing?
Nothing.
You, my old son, are a terrible liar. What you got there? Come on, show me.
Crazy, right? Little Bruce is going through so much crap right now. He just watched his parents die in front of him. And of course he's going to be acting out in crazy, ridiculous ways. The only reason that we find it somewhat excusable is because, hey, this guy's going to be Batman one day. But you take a look at those clips and tell me, would you think that this kid is okay? Or would you get him some serious psychiatric help? And while we're on the topic of billionaires, how about that Tony Stark guy? So, Why is Iron Man so interesting? It kind of says something weird about our society that we like Tony Stark so much. I mean, he's abrasive and selfish, and he's just downright rude sometimes. And yet everybody loves this guy. So, why? I mean, it's not just Tony Stark either. There are so many other characters in our media these days that are just as abrasive, selfish, and rude. And, I mean, what causes us to like them? It's a mystery. Or is it? I have a bit of a theory as to why abrasive, rude jerks are such likable characters sometimes. First of all, there's the obvious fact that they kind of just make us laugh. Tony is so full of little quips and funny things that are just like, I guess that's kind of funny. And when you think about it, it's not like all he is an abrasive, rude jerk. However, more than that, I think it's the fact that when push comes to shove, they're put in situations where you expect them to, do the right thing. And for the most part, they always come through.
Do we need to worry about that?
I mean, wasn't that adorable? The next person on the list is Bane. I want to start off by saying there is a difference between terror and horror. Horror is the kind of fear that you have when zombies are chasing you down the street and you have nowhere to run and you're all out of bullets and you're going to die very, very quickly. Terror is the kind of scared you get when you're entering that edgy, creepy-looking mansion and you know that there's a ghost or something that's going to jump out at you any second, but you just can't quite get there. And the music gets all suspenseful and it's increasing in tempo and you're just starting to get really, really edgy and you got the goosebumps going and you never really know when it's going to jump out at you. Terror is the fear of something bad happening. Horror is the fear of the bad things as they're happening. Got it? Good. So, with that in mind, Bane is the most terrifying villain I have ever seen. Watching The Dark Knight Rises, you may be laughing and thinking, really, Andrew? That guy with the voice that sounds like Sean Connery sucked back a bunch of helium? No, I don't buy it. But honestly, as I watched The Dark Knight Rises, I nearly wet myself a couple times as I immersed myself in the world and looked at Bane through the eyes of the people in the movie. It was absolutely terrifying. Think about it. A guy that huge spitting off threats like they're just the facts of life. Seriously, tell me that you would be in that guy's position and not wet yourself right on the spot. You know he's just going to absolutely destroy you. The guy can freaking break Batman, and did. And then he just gets away with it and keeps on going. He ended up with Gotham for a month, just in full crazy terror mode. Seriously? It's no secret that Arrow is my favorite show on TV right now. They have awesome archery stunts and really cool characters, and the way that they tell a giant story that ramps up and gets super climactic, but then has a nice, satisfying ending at the end of a season is just awesome. See, Oliver Queen isn't actually my favorite character on the show. But his character is the best for growth and development over the entire course of the series. So you start off in season 1, where Oliver is this strange jungle man who's lived on an island for 5 years, and he's like very, very antisocial and grr and punch people and you have failed the city and stuff like that. And he's very rough, and you can tell that he hasn't had a meaningful social interaction with somebody he is actually fond of in the last 5 years. He's totally Bushman kind of thing. And in season 2, after Tommy dies, he decides to pick things up and, start to be a real hero for the city. Not just focus on this vendetta that his dad had, but actually help people and do what he can to, save lives. And he swears off killing people, which is huge personal growth, and congratulations. And now it seems like season 3 is making him out to be this wonderful leader figure who takes charge and makes the calls that are the best for the team, and he's doing it in such a really awesome way that I kind of respect and admire him way more than I ever have as a character. And so he's gone from Bushman to Bushman with wallet to, vigilante to hero to leader of a team of heroes, and it's been really cool watching him grow, and I can't wait to see where they go out with this next. And we finally come down to the last person on the list. So, I gotta level with you guys. At the beginning of the video, I made 2 claims. One, that the order that I presented these guys in was completely arbitrary. And 2, Superman was never going to make a good spot on this list. I lied on both accounts. It's not that the order for the rest of the guys was completely arbitrary, because it was. It was more the fact that the number 1 slot has been saved for Superman, because, well, he's Superman. So now I have to give a case as to why Superman is my number 1 favorite superhero, without citing any of his powers as a reference, which could be troubling. When asked what powers Superman has, he responds with most. But just because he has basically all the powers doesn't mean that there isn't anything else to his character, which is an argument that most people tend to make, that he's unrelatable, and that nobody really likes Superman because there's never any tension in his conflicts. To which I say, that's utter bullcrap. To the first statement, that there's no substance to his character, I would argue, have you ever read the comics or seen any of the movies or watched Smallville at all? He's got some personality, and he's got some things that make him tick. And those things are a drive to be good, and to be better, and to have a correct moral compass. He is the epitome of lawful good, and he tries very hard at it. But that's not to say he doesn't fail ever. Superman makes mistakes too, guys. And as far as there being no tension with the fact that he's got basically all of the superpowers, and so, what can ever harm him? The tension in Superman stories isn't usually about what harm is going to come to Superman, but what harm is going to come to the people Superman is trying to save. See, the main theme in Superman stories, a lot of the times, is you can't save everyone. The whole concept that Superman literally has the ability to be all over the planet in instantaneous moments, stopping as many crimes as he possibly can. But even with those abilities, he can't stop everything. And should we expect him to be on 24/7 crime watch? I mean, he was raised as a human being. He is human. Everybody needs a break. It's a very important thing in life to know when to take a break from doing your work, which, for Superman, he has 2 jobs. One is the Daily Planet writing stuff, and the other is saving the world. The main reason I like Superman, though, is the fact that he tries so hard to be good and to do the right thing in all cases, no matter what the circumstances are. And I think that that is an admirable quality. I absolutely agree that it's one that nobody can live up to. But does that mean we shouldn't try? Does that mean that because we can't be good 100% of the time, that we shouldn't strive to be good as much as we possibly can? So I think that's one of the reasons why Superman is so awesome and interesting to me, is because he tries to do the right thing, no matter what the circumstance is. And maybe to a lot of people that's unrelatable. I don't necessarily try to do the right things all the time. I can point to so many situations where I've done something that I've blatantly thought of as the wrong thing. But the fact that he keeps on trying, despite the fact that it is completely and entirely in everybody's nature to not do the right thing, that I think makes him an admirable role model as a superhero. Far more admirable as a role model than Batman, who decides to just beat up people because justice. A lot of people criticize Superman for being a Boy Scout, but I kind of think that's one of his best qualities. So those are my top 10 superheroes, without using their powers as a reference. I hope you enjoyed the list and found it at least somewhat interesting, listening to me just sit there talk about superheroes for however long this video has been so far. Now it's time for what we call the orders of business. So first off, I want to thank Matthew McLean for helping film the first parts of the video in the hotel room. And I want to thank my mother for making the wonderful mask from earlier on. And I would also like to thank PBA Graphics for making a super awesome Superman t-shirt. But yeah, PBA Graphics made it. It was good. You know, if you ever have any graphics needs or anything like that, you might want to check them out. Yeah. So next up, we have your challenge, Natalie. This one's going to be a bit of a doozy. It's going to require a little bit more filming on your part than you might be used to, and a lot more pre-planning, but I have faith that you can do it, and I really look forward to the results. I challenge you to make a choose-your-own-adventure YouTube video. The way you might do this is you film the first part of the video, and then have, at the end of that little clip, annotations linking to unlisted videos of what would happen next. It's a lot to do, so you can get away with just doing 2 different branching points. I'm totally cool with that, but I really want to see what you can come up with. It should be fun. I said I'd normally base this off of things that I've seen done on YouTube, and I have seen this done on YouTube, but it's not like a really popular thing. So if you're looking for any references to maybe help you out, I would definitely check out Wheezy Waiter. He does these like all the time. And Hank Green and SciShow do a game show, or they've done a game show in the past called Truth or Fail, where they do the same principle of, you know, click on a choice and it takes you to an unlisted video to see how you did. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else to discuss, really. So, this is the end of the video. I'm so gonna regret putting this on YouTube.